Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the full card of fights for Contender Series 2025 week number 8. So yeah, let's just hop right into it and run right through it. So first fight we have in the flyweight division, we got Rashid Vagabov versus Paulo da Silva. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going average confidence Rashid Vagabov to beat Paulo da Silva. And this is like really just another case, like really a continuation from last week. We got a fighter in Paulo da Silva who's really not tested at all and has been fighting extremely weak competition and just jumping and rushing to the Contender Series, where he really should be trying to get into PFL or one of these other leagues. You know, any league really, like any league really, like any league better than we, like maybe go to Russia, try to come over to the US or do something, some way, somehow, and get some real competent Bellator, PFL, whatever it may be. But anything better than level like one of these leagues that's kind of more so American, or maybe even go to ONE FC and get your rounds, get your fights in over there. But like low competition, he has been fighting extremely weak, and it's not really even comparable. And again, it's a fighter that's very inexperienced and just not tested and just not fully developed. With Rashid Vagabov, not super amazed by him, but he's actually developed. He's full of good competition, lost some good competition, but again, fighting real competition with Paulo da Silva. You know, he's been fighting like weak competition. But like Rashid Vagabov is gonna be to dominate this fight everywhere this takes place. Take him to the ground, ground and pound him. And I'm going to say second round submission for Rashid Vagabov. So in this one, I got Rashid Vagabov via second round submission. Now to our next fight, we have in the featherweight division, we got Curtis Campbell versus Demba Sek. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going Curtis Campbell, low confidence to beat Demba Sek. And again, the same thing. I just feel like Demba Sek, solid talent, but the level of competition, the opposition just not there. And you just got to step out and go to a league where there's real competition. You know, not say jump into the fire, but work your way up. Maybe spend 2 years there. I don't know. I think he's like 28. Now he's 31. But I guess for him, it makes sense. I think this got like 23 right here. This got like 31. Like, so it kind of makes sense, like, you know, just jump in. But I would say, even at 31, maybe be good for take a year in a decent league and be very active if you can. And then try to jump into the series, but because rushing ain't gonna help you nothing. Like you might feel like, oh, my time is this time, but you rush, you gonna have the same result whether you 20 years old or 31 years old. So yeah, take your time. You might be at a more expedited pace or expedient pace, but you still gotta do the steps. Curtis Campbell has done the step. I don't feel like he's such an amazing talent, but he's definitely much more well-rounded, much cleaner, much polished. But hey, Sek might catch him a big shot. Sek might come in and be more powerful. But I feel like Campbell is more skilled, more polished, and should be able to grind out Sek, mix it up, and beat him by decision here. So, it is, again, the guy, Campbell has an extensive amateur background. Again, he's done the steps. He's done the amateur background, like 10 fights in the amateur, several years in amateurs. You know, he worked his way up the rankings, you know, fighting low competition. So, he's worked his way up for like Sek. You know, he kind of just cut a corner. And it definitely shows more often than not in Contender Series when you do cut those corners. And I think it's going to show here. And I got Curtis Campbell by decision. So in this one, I got Curtis Campbell via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the welterweight division, we got Christopher Alvarez versus Eliezer Kubanza. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Eliezer Kubanza to beat Christopher Alvarez. And both of these guys are pretty solid. I just think Eliezer Kubanza just packs more punch, just a bigger physical presence, show, you know, solid enough skill. Like he might not be as technical as Alvarez in some departments, but I think his athleticism makes up for it. Like I say, he's skilled enough, and then he's an athletic specimen. Like again, maybe get some more elite competition, maybe expose more, but then maybe by the time he gets that more elite competition, he'll be able to polish his skills off more. But all in all, I feel like even with skill, the skill ain't that gap ain't super big between them. Like technical gap ain't that big, but the athletic gap is huge. But yeah, I go with Kubanza here. I think that both kind of measured a little bit, but once they start to throw and trade, I feel like Kubanza's going to start to crack, and I think it's going to be a very big, evident power differential. Especially when they clinch up, Kubanza will be much stronger, get the advantage there. When they trade in, Kubanza's going to have the bigger punch. And I'm going to say like a second round TKO for Kubanza. So in this one, I got Eliezer Kubanza via second round TKO. Now to our co-main event, we have in the bantamweight division, we got Luis Jourdain versus Magno Diaz. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'll go, it don't matter. I'll go average confidence Magno Diaz to beat Luis Jourdain, the brother of Charles Jourdain. Yeah. I think Luis Jourdain is a solid striker. He might be the more technical striker, but I think Magno Diaz has more pop in his punches. And just like his brother, he definitely has a weakness in the grappling. And I think that's part of the game is still weak, and Diaz could definitely exploit that heavily. I think Diaz cracking him with big shots and then follow him to the ground, or get into respect with the striking and then mix up the takedowns and then, being able to dominate him in the grappling department. Jourdain has not really, the younger Jourdain or the other Jourdain has not yet fleshed out his grappling game like his brother has yet, or as much as his brother had yet. I still think it's a weak area for his brother, but he definitely has got a couple of good submissions over some good fighters that tried to exploit that area. But again, at least he has made that growth. I feel like this Jourdain is still very weak in that area. And Diaz, again, will be landing heavy shots, mixing the takedowns, and then sub him. And I'm going to say a second round submission for Magno Diaz. So in this one, I got Magno Diaz via second round submission. Now to our next fight, we have in our main event in the middleweight division, we got Vitor Costa versus Damian Pinas. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going average confidence Vitor Costa to beat Damian Pinas. So Pinas, he's a great talent, but yet again, another one of these young guys, I think 23 years old. They're both young, 23, 25. But Costa has definitely earned his strike, whereas Pinas has not. Pinas, the majority of his competition has been extremely mediocre. And the one guy he did fight that was somewhat decent is mediocre as well. And Pinas was getting taken down like a guy that has never wrestled a day in his life. His base, his top control is just so weak and so, I don't know what to say. Somebody that you could just really just flip off you without he don't know how to put his weight on you. He don't know how to, spread his weight out on you to keep once he gets on top of you. He get flipped over very easily, even against mediocre competition. He can get taken down very easily, even against mediocre competition. He got some power. He got a good physical frame, but again, he's just not experienced. He's not developed. It's just you don't have bad potential, or you don't lack potential. Put you in the right places. Maybe you luck out, you catch him with a shot, and you get into the access to more gyms. You become a name a little bit, or not a name, but you catch some eyes. And then you're in what's it called? The UFC PI Center, and then you're able to train and get the right nutrition you need and be around the right people, and you can blossom. But it do just feel like when people rush to the spot and they haven't really had the work, the work they need to get here, it just doesn't end up well for them. But hey, maybe this would be his chance to show something. What was it? Yeah. Maybe this would be his chance to show something. But yeah, I'm yapping too much. Somebody's get to the point. I just think he's just too inexperienced, and I'll say second round submission for Peanuts. I said Peanuts. Well, hey, maybe I jinx it. He gonna get the submission, even though he hasn't really shown any bit of grappling. I see him go for some submissions, but with pretty weak technique, and against guys with weak technique. But yeah, Vitor Costa, better striker, better grappler, just more experienced fighter, more polished. I think he'll mix up on the feet, drag to the ground, and be able to dominate on the ground, and ultimately materialize a second round submission for Vitor Costa. So in this one, I got Vitor Costa via second round submission. And so that concludes my fight predictions for the full card of fights for Contender Series 2025, week number 8. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.